Pop music legend Lionel Richie dominated the 1980s with an amazing run of 13 consecutive top 10 songs, 5 of which peaked at number 1. We will cover Lionel's whole life story today, including some of the less pleasant parts, from his humble beginnings in Tuskegee, Alabama, to his meteoric rise to fame in the music business. Down order to experience the engrossing tale of Lionel Richie from his modest origins to his ultimate decline into international fame, grab some popcorn, settle down, and get ready. Early life. On June 20, 1949, in Tuskegee, Alabama, Lionel Richie was born. His mother, Alberta R. Foster, was a teacher, and his father, Lionel Brockman Richie, was a systems analyst in the American Army. Adelaide Mary Brown, Richie's maternal grandmother, was a talented pianist who was well known for her classical music performances. Richie, who was raised in Tuskegee, was mostly raised on the campus of what is now Tuskegee University, formerly known as Tuskegee Institute. The family lived in a house that was a gift from the institute's founder and well-known educator, Booker T. Washington. Richie's love of music was first piqued by his grandmother, whose piano playing introduced him to classical works. His uncle, a jazz guitarist and arranger, gave him his first saxophone as a present. Richie's future musical career was paved by this familial musical influence. Richie later moved to Illinois with his family, where he attended Joliet East High School. Despite the relocation, Richie's bond with Tuskegee remained strong, and he returned to the institute to continue his studies after earning his high school diploma in 1967. Richie invested himself in extracurricular activities and academics at Tuskegee Institute. His musical abilities were furthered when he joined the Marching Crimson Pipers, a marching band. Richie earned a Bachelor of Science in Economics with a minor in accounting in 1971. Richie was allowed to continue his profession in the U.S. after graduating. Richie briefly entertained the idea of studying religion and explored a career in the Episcopal Church. He finally decided against it, though, because he didn't think he was cut out for the priesthood. Despite not having had official instruction in reading or writing music notation, he decided to follow his love of music instead. After Richie's 2011 participation on NBC's Who Do You Think You Are?, several unexpected facts regarding his heritage came to light. According to the episode, his maternal great-grandfather was probably Morgan Wells Brown's biological son, a former slave owner and a federal judge. Furthermore, Richie's great-grandfather was a well-known member of the Knights of Wise Men, a fraternal order that was established in the years following the Civil War. Richie remained involved in several fraternal groups over his life, such as Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity and Kappa Kappa Psi, a national honor fraternity for band members. Richie's incredible career as a musician and composer was molded by his childhood, education, and early exposure to music. His rise from Tuskegee to global acclaim is a testament to his talent and tenacity, which have shaped his career in the music business. Commanders-in-Chief. Midway through the 1960s, Richie started his musical career while attending Tuskegee, where he formed R&B groups. He made a big advancement when he joined the Commodores in 1968 as a vocalist and saxophone. Before moving to Motown, the quartet signed a recording contract with Atlantic Records at that time for one album. They began as an opening act for the legendary The Jackson 5 and worked their way up to become a well-known soul group. A characteristically danceable and groovy vibe, heard in songs like Machine Gun and Brick House, characterized the Commodores' early years. Over time, Richie's role changed, becoming more involved in the composition and performance of love ballads like Easy, 3 Times a Lady, Still, and the poignant, Say Along. Richie's style would be defined by these tracks, which also greatly influenced his long-lasting influence in the music business. Happy People, a song Richie co-wrote with Jeffrey Bowen and Donald Baldwin, became popular in 1974, showcasing his skill as a songwriter. The song, which was meant for the Commodores, wound up in the hands of the Temptations, who used it to soar to the top of the R&B charts. Richie experienced commercial success for the first time outside of his performances with this He started taking on writing assignments for other artists in the late 1970s, which increased his profile in the field. Lady, written with Kenny Rogers, was one of his most well-known joint efforts and reached the top of the charts in 1980. The next year, Richie produced Rogers' album Share Your, further cementing their collaboration. Their enduring friendship is proof of the connections made by music. Richie's influence went beyond R&B and soul. This was demonstrated by his partnership with Latin jazz composer La Palabra, whose rendition of Lady won praise from all around the world, especially in Latin dance clubs. In addition, Richie's 1981 movie Endless Love title theme song duet with Diana Ross became a hit, commanding charts throughout the world and establishing himself as a major force in music. But Richie faced difficulties along the way to success. Even with his talent and charisma, the Commodore was unable to land a recording contract with Motown. They didn't get the attention of industry titan James Carmichael until Benny Ashburn took a risk and quit his job to lead the group full-time. With Carmichael's leadership and knowledge as a producer and arranger of music, the Commodores made their breakthrough and rose to unprecedented levels of notoriety. Musical profession Lionel Richie became one of the 1980s most popular performers when he started his solo career in 1981. He quickly established himself as a successful track record, racking up an astounding 13 top 10 songs between 1981 and 1987, 9 of which were #1 smashes. Among these #1 hits was his iconic duet with Diana Ross, Endless Love, a song that not only won nominations for the Academy Awards and Golden Globes but also won hearts. Motown contacted Lionel to make his album after realizing his potential as a solo artist. His self-titled first album, which demonstrated his star power and won him his first Grammy Award for the popular song, Truly, was released following this significant turning point. Even after experiencing early success, Lionel Richie struggled with uncertainty over his artistic path. The popular reggae music of the day, especially that of Jamaican musicians, stood in sharp contrast to his genre of choice. A few DJs advised him to switch to reggae to follow the current fads. But Lionel never wavered from his artistic views, driven by an intuitive emotional bond with his medium. The guarantee of a musical radio librarian who promised to broadcast his music anytime he published new songs boosted his commitment. Lionel was encouraged by this support. Reinforced Lionel Richie's resolve to be authentic, which in turn provided the framework for the writing of his Grammy-winning songs. Lionel Richie cemented his reputation even further in 1983 when his diamond-certified album Can't Slow Down was released. This groundbreaking work resonated with audiences all across the world and presented timeless hits like Hello, Penny Lover, All Night Long, All Night, and Stuck on You. One of the most important partnerships of Lionel's career occurred in 1985. When he co-wrote the We Are the World for the USA for Africa campaign with Michael Jackson. One of the most famous pop tunes ever produced was the result of this charitable attempt. Furthermore, in addition to receiving positive reviews, Lionel's solo project Say You, Say Me won important honors including an Academy Award and a Golden Globe for Best Original Song. When Dancing on the Ceiling was released in 1986, the enthusiasm persisted. Yet another historic record demonstrating Lionel's timeless appeal and skill as a musician. With albums like Louder Than Words, Time, and Renaissance, which all represented his development as an artist, Lionel Richie's career continued to change in the years that followed as he delved further into more intimate areas. As the 21st century started, Lionel continued to be a formidable presence, working with a wide range of performers such as Lenny Kravitz, Neo, The Dream, and Akon. His ability to work well with others highlighted his continued relevance and flexibility in the ever-changing music industry. Tuskegee, Lionel Richie's 10th studio album, was released in 2012, marking a return to his original sound. With duets with well-known performers like Willie Nelson, Kenny Rogers, and Shania Twain, the album shot to the top of the charts, adding yet another remarkable achievement to an already remarkable career. Personal life. Aside from being a performer, he had a turbulent personal life. Lionel Richie tied the knot with his college love, Brenda Harvey, on October 18, 1975. Their marriage signaled the start of a journey that would include both happiness and hardship. When they unofficially welcomed Nicole Camille Escovedo, the 2-year-old daughter of one of Richie's bandmates, into their family circle in 1983, their lives took a dramatic shift. After becoming an essential part of their life, Nicole, later known as Nicole Richie, was legally adopted by the Richies when she reached 9 years old. Their family dynamic gained complexity as a result of this loving and dedicated deed. But in June 1988, Brenda Harvey was arrested and charged with several charges, including assaulting her spouse and vandalism, upsetting the peace in their home. She found Lionel at Diane Alexander's Beverly Hills residence, which led to the confrontation. Their marriage took a turn for the worse after this episode, and on August 9, 1993, they officially filed for divorce. Following almost 18 years of union. After his first marriage ended in divorce, Lionel Richie fell in love once more and married Diane Alexander on December 21, 1995. They had a daughter, Sophia Richie, on August 24, 1998, and a boy, Miles Brockman Richie, on May 27, 1994, marking the blessing of motherhood that resulted from their relationship. Even though they were happy at first, they had problems in their marriage, which ended in 2004. Amidst his struggles, Lionel Richie experienced health problems that put his career in jeopardy. He spent 4 years undergoing various procedures due to persistent throat issues. He had bleak hopes for his singing career after receiving conventional medical advice, but a holistic doctor identified his ailment as acid reflux, which he linked to his eating habits before bed. When Nicole Richie and Joel Madden, the lead singer of Good Charlotte, welcomed their first child in 2008, Lionel Richie felt the delights of grandfatherhood while going through personal upheavals. 2009 saw the birth of another granddaughter, who made Richie's life even more meaningful. Despite his success in music, Lionel Richie never wavered in his commitment to philanthropy. Motivated by his grandmother's struggle with breast cancer, he made a substantial donation to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Her tenacity and survival to the age of 103 inspired hope for Richie's humanitarian activities. His musical career flourished along with his charity endeavors. His group and solo endeavors won him several awards, including an Academy Award and a Grammy. He also received critical recognition. Richie had personal difficulties, such as adultery and marital conflict, despite the sparkle and glamour of the entertainment business. These experiences influenced Richie's development as a man and as an artist. Lionel Richie's life is a monument to love, tenacity, and the unwavering pursuit of passion and purpose despite hardships. His tale of overcoming hardship is emphasized by his dedication to his family, music, and changing the world. Traveling through misery, several difficulties that Lionel Richie encountered in the 1990s threatened to eclipse his typically upbeat attitude. Even though he was a famous showman, Richie's contentment was put to the test when, at the height of his solo fame, he fell unwell for no apparent reason. Uncertainty around this ailment led Richie to have many throat operations, which stoked worries that he would lose his most valuable asset, his singing voice. In the middle of his health struggles, he struggled with inner conflict. He was navigating the turbulent seas of his challenging divorce from Brenda Harvey, his first wife. Not only that, but Richie had to take care of his sick father as well. The loss of Lionel Richie Sr. in 1990 at the age of 75 compounded Richie's problems. Richie was burdened by these hardships to the point that he was on the verge of what he called a nervous breakdown. The idea of losing his voice, the very thing that had made him famous, hovered menacingly over him. Richie cited his father's wise counsel, emphasizing the value of aptitude and attitude. Realizing how important it was to keep a cheerful attitude amid hardship. In the early 90s, Richie had 4 procedures to try to cure the mysterious illness affecting his throat. His career was overshadowed by the uncertainty surrounding his health, which caused him to doubt his identity as an artist on an existential level. Richie thought about the possible influence on his feeling of self if he had to live without speaking while sitting quietly. Thankfully, doctors were able to identify acid reflux brought on by Richie's diet as the root of his misery. This diagnosis indicated a road to recovery and offered a ray of hope. After the root cause was found and fixed, he progressively recovered his health and self-assurance in his voice. In a 2012 interview, looking back on this difficult time, he openly expressed his concerns about the surgical treatments and acknowledged the inherent risk they represented to his identity as a performer. Richie persisted in his resolve to face hardship head-on and take back the limelight despite his anxieties. Richie found comfort in unplanned moments of connection during his journey. On one such occasion, while on a trip to Jamaica, he was approached by an old black man who was affected by his sincere words of support. He was reminded of the great influence his fortitude had on other people, acting as a ray of hope for others going through their challenges, triumphs, and honors. For the film Endless Love, Lionel Richie received his first Golden Globe nomination in 1982 for Best Original Song. Then, with Truly, he took home his first Grammy in 1984 for Best Male Pop Vocal Performance. The next year, Richie co-wrote We Are the World, which won Song of the Year, with Michael Jackson and won Album of the Year with Can't Slow Down. He was also honored to be the first person to get the RIAA Diamond Album Award. Say You Say Me, which won the Best Original Song Golden Globe and the Academy Award for Lionel Richie, was nominated again in 1986. For Featured Original Song of the Year. He commemorated his 54th birthday in 2003 by having his star unveiled on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a location that was special to him because it was close to the location where his band, the Commodores, recorded their debut album. 2004 saw Richie release Just For You, his seventh studio album, following his divorce from Diane Alexander. The album received a gold certification from the BPI and sold over 1 lakh copies in the UK despite receiving mediocre reviews. With the release of Coming Home, his 8th studio album, in 2006, which debuted at number 6 on the Billboard Top 200 list, Richie's career had a rebirth. I Call It Love, the album's smash track that topped the charts, and a promotional tour throughout the United States contributed to the album's popularity. In addition to giving a Grammy Awards performance, Lionel Richie started a concert series in 2007 that included songs from both his solo and Commodore days. In 2009, Richie continued his musical career by releasing his 9th album, Just Go, getting compliments from reviewers. The album peaked at number 10 on the top R&B and hip-hop albums chart and debuted at number 24 on the Billboard. Richie worked with a variety of producers and musicians to create an album that would appeal to younger listeners as well as his devoted fan base. Amidst his musical pursuits, Lionel Richie saw his daughter's marriage in 2023, marking yet another momentous occasion. Richie Nicole. Richie's perseverance, commitment to his craft, and capacity for creative growth have cemented his place in music history throughout the years. Success on television. In addition to writing beautiful music, he was a television producer. On December 11, 2010, his daughter Nicole Richie was born, marking his first fatherhood. At Lionel Richie's Los Angeles home, they had a sentimental ceremony to honor their union, attended by about 110 of their closest friends and family members. After a short break from music, Lionel Richie shocked fans on March 5, 2012, by releasing his album Tuskegee. His hit songs were sung as duets with a variety of country music singers, such as Tim McGraw, Shania Twain, and Jennifer Nettles, in this unexpected effort. Through Tuskegee, he captivated both new and old admirers, demonstrating his continuing appeal. The album barely lagged behind Madonna's MDNA album from the same year when it arrived at number 2. Tuskegee sold a staggering 199,000 copies in its first week of release, which was Lionel Richie's best-ever sales week. The next week, the record sold an additional 95,000 copies, demonstrating its ongoing strong performance. And finally, being certified platinum in the U.S. Seeking to broaden his interests outside of music, he entered the lifestyle sector in 2016 with the introduction of Lionel Richie Home. In addition to a range of bedroom suites that were on display at J.C. Penney home shops across the United States, this collection included sophisticated pieces like crystal barware vases and bone china tableware. The celebrity wanted to share with his devoted fan base his sophisticated taste and way of life through Lionel Richie Home. While engaged in his several business endeavors, Lionel Richie managed to make a comeback to television as a judge on the 16th season of American Idol, which debuted on March 11, 2018. He contributed his knowledge to the renowned singing competition, along with Ryan Seacrest, Luke Bryan, and Katy Perry, which helped it to continue to be successful. With the introduction of the Hello by Lionel Richie fragrance line in 2019, Lionel Richie continued his entrepreneurial endeavors. Working with renowned French perfume designer Dora Bagriche, whose past creations included fragrances for luxury labels like Versace and Yves Saint Laurent, Lionel Richie sought to modernize the perfume industry and bring his distinctive charm and flair to it. In terms of his present circumstances, he is making the most of his existence. Many people see Lionel Richie's relationship with Lisa Parigi, whom he has been in for a while, to be quite lovely. They met at a dinner party in 2014, which is when their romance began. They were introduced to one another by friends, and ever since they have become inseparable. The fact that Parigi is 40 years Richie's junior emphasizes how unusual their relationship is. He has gone through 2 marriages before Parigi. He discussed his connection with Lisa Parigi in an April 2019 interview with People magazine. Richie views himself as a hopeless romantic who has experienced the highs and lows of love despite his turbulent romantic past. He showed his respect for Parigi, pointing out that in addition to her attractive appearance, she is intelligent, which aids him in navigating his sometimes hectic life. Richie and Parigi have gone to a lot of public events together over the years, including the 2024 Grammy Awards and the esteemed 2023 Breakthrough Prize event, demonstrating their solid relationship and public persona as a pair. Originally from Switzerland, Lisa Parigi told Harper's Bazaar Arabia about their first encounter. She was invited to the dinner party where she met Richie, and at the time, she was traveling to Los Angeles from her home in Switzerland. Their chats continued well into the night, demonstrating their true and instant connection. According to Parigi, their conversation was natural and sincere, setting the groundwork for their long-lasting bond. Beyond their public personas, Richie and Parigi have a noteworthy life-shared experience. Sylvester, their cherished dog, is very significant to them and even has his own Instagram account where he frequently appears with his adoring owners. Parigi has fit well in with Richie's family, especially becoming close to his daughter Sophia. This was made clear when Parigi showed her love and appreciation for her stepdaughter by posting sincere birthday greetings for Sophia on her Instagram account. In April 2023, Parigi also joined the Richie family in celebrating Sophia's happy marriage to Elliot Grange and her bridal shower. Regarding her pursuits, 30-year-old Lisa Parigi switched from modeling to managing the lifestyle blog Dream Design Discover. This change is a reflection of her many interests and goals outside of her partnership with Lionel Richie. The public is still fascinated by Lionel Richie's relationship with Lisa Parigi, which is marked by love, camaraderie, and respect, even if he prefers to keep aspects of his personal life secret. I appreciate your viewing, and I'll see you in the upcoming video.